Hi, welcome to the Guitar Department. I'm your host, Joe Alton, and today we have an awesome episode. We're going to have Annie Kemble on the show. Been trying to get her on for a long time. Really excited to have her here. It's a really fun talk, and we do 2 songs together and a 12-bar blues. It's going to be a lot of fun. First, though, I want to talk about this guitar. A friend of mine loaned this to me for this show. This is a Gibson Lucille, and for those of you who don't know what a Lucille is, it is the guitar that was made to B.B. King's specs. And if you don't know who B.B. King is, you have some homework to do before you watch this show. Basically, this is modeled after a 335, a Gibson 335, which is a really popular type of guitar. Semi-hollow body, meaning that it's solid through the middle and hollow on either side. And usually when you see that, you see what they call F-holes on either side. B.B. King didn't like that, though. He wanted something that got a little less feedback when he was playing through an amp, so he decided to ask them not to put F-holes in it. And then the other main distinguishing factor between this and the 335 is that it actually says Lucille up here on the top. Now, as far as why it's called a Lucille, that's a fun story. He was playing in a club, and there was no heat in the club. They just had a kerosene-filled dumpster in the middle of the room on fire, and some people got into a fight and knocked it over, and of course the club then caught on fire. There's burning kerosene everywhere, so they left the club. Everybody evacuated. BB left his guitar inside, so he ran back into the burning building to grab his guitar, and he named every guitar he had Lucille after that, because Lucille is the name of the girl that the 2 men were fighting over. And he said that that reminded him not to do stupid things like fight over women and run into burning buildings. It's good advice. Then, other than that, we've got 2 humbucker pickups, a 3-way toggle switch, which gives us a couple different tones. And then, of course, the middle setting. So that's this, both, and then this. And then we've got independent controls so that if I want to back off on the bridge pickup or the neck pickup, I can flip this up and have my comping. And if I flip it down, we're back to full volume. And then we've got a 5-way position switch here, which gets us 5 different tones per setting. Gibson Lucille is a pretty awesome guitar, and that's our tone zone. And we're back, and I'm sitting here with Annie Kemble. Annie, thank you for being here.
Of course, thank you for having me.
There's so much for us to talk about.
Yes.
I want to start with your guitar. First off, I didn't know you actually played guitar.
I barely do. But it is. I use it as a tool for songwriting.
Nah, that's awesome.
But my brother's a guitarist, so he was always more into that than me. But I did just buy this last week. So.
Yeah, it looks like the guitar from Wayne's World, actually.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I got it because it will go with every outfit. I won't lie.
Yeah, that's perfect.
You know, that's where my priorities are.
That's fantastic. It's got a maple neck on it too, which is nice. So the sort of natural wood finish on the top. I like it.
Thank you.
So tell me about your guitar playing. Let's start there. How did you learn to play guitar? How did that come about?
I think I kind of stole some stuff from my brother growing up. I think I would listen to him, and he taught me a few things here and there. I just know like some basic chords and nothing too crazy, but I think I usually play more piano. I went to school for a piano, you know that.
Yeah, of course.
But I think guitar is nice because I'm not thinking so intensely about it, and I can kind of just play whatever, and I'm not like doing crazy things, and it's easy to write more simple songs on guitar and more country leaning stuff. So
I've always thought that was one of the advantages of the guitar is it's not maybe more accessible than the piano or some other harmonic instruments, but it's taught in a more laid-back way.
Right.
And so you get to sort of take it to whatever level you want and then move on from there.
Yeah.
But as you said, you're more of a piano player and truly probably more of a vocalist than either.
Yeah.
You went to Southwestern Community College,
Yep.
which I also went there.
Yes.
Shout out to Swick.
Shout out.
So I'm curious. So your voice is very sort of jazzy. It's got this syrupy sort of throwback, almost a Sarah Vaughan, Ella Fitzgerald type of quality to it. Do you feel like you were gearing yourself more towards the jazzy R&B genre before Swick? Because Swick is very jazz oriented.
Yeah.
You can hear some of the chords in your piano playing. Like, oh, that's a Swick chord.
Yeah, she's got a 9 in there.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
That 7.
That's a couple extensions.
Yeah, right. I think, you know, I didn't really listen to a ton of jazz before I went to Swick. I think Swick was really like that's where I really discovered my love for jazz. But I definitely listened to, I worked with a guitarist when I was in high school named William Jacobson, and I met him through my brother. They both went to the same guitar studio in Perry, Iowa. And he showed me like Amy Winehouse stuff. He showed me like some Billie Holiday. And some Nina Simone stuff. And so that's kind of, I started getting into that, started listening to it, getting into it as if it's some kind of like drug or something. It kind of is a drug, but anyway. But I think growing up I listened to more like rock stuff. I liked like Janis Joplin and a lot of like Heart and kind of like 70s, 80s rock kind of thing. So yeah, I think college was where I really was thrown into it in a big way. But
that's funny because those are sort of peak eras for female vocalists. Actually,
Yeah.
There was a sort of an era in the middle, the Sarah McLachlan era, you know what I mean? Where the vocals were, you know, they're very strong singers, the Sheryl Crows of the world, but when you get into like Amy Winehouse and some of the contemporaries from there, pop music really took off, and it's a whole other world.
Yeah.
And then going backwards, Heart, I mean, Ann Wilson, Nina Simone, Billie Holiday,
Right,
you know.
right. They're so good.
The tradition is definitely there.
Yeah.
And you can hear it in your music. I was thinking, before, we've talked a bit off camera, but before that, I was thinking that you sounded quite a bit like Amy Winehouse, who in turn, to me, sounds a lot like Sarah Vaughan.
Yeah.
And so were you a fan of hers?
Oh, huge fan. Yeah, I think I don't know, I don't even remember like the first time I heard her. It was probably like Rehab or like one of those popular songs.
Big hits,
the big hits. But I think my mom got me a record player for like my 13th or 14th birthday, and I remember Back to Black was the first album I got. But then I, you know, started listening to her more and got into like her first album, Frank, and that stuff is all like, she has a ton of like jazz standards and stuff on that album. And so then it was like, oh, like this is like what all I've heard of jazz at that point. And then I'm like, oh, but she would listen to these people. And then I got, you know, it's just like interesting to hear who inspired who and like what they take from who is kind of like interesting. So I've always really like looked up to Amy for her like songwriting and singing and kind of down to like my look and everything.
Her style, everything was.
I love her, like
iconic,
to the end.
yeah.
I think I was kind of worried about like, I don't want to like copy people, you know, but I think it's like if you love something, you just tend to go for it. I mean, so.
Well, and Amy Winehouse is one that I think we all wish had produced more music before we lost her.
Yeah.
So I don't think anybody's upset about hearing somebody who sounds like her.
Yeah, right.
And also in that sense, you don't really, like your vocally sound a bit like Amy Winehouse. The songs on Dive Bar, at least, they sound like they maybe could have been in that genre, but they feel like they're sort of their own sort of, you know, funk-driven, jazz-driven genre.
Yeah, cool.
Can I ask you about Dive Bar? So you've got 7 songs on it, or 7 tracks on it.
7 tracks, yeah.
And 2 of them are sort of spoken word, movie script type of interludes. Tell me about those.
Yeah, so I've always been a big fan of the interlude. I think the storyline of an album and like a playthrough I love to sit down and listen to an album. So that was really like important to me going into it. That was like my first project I'd ever made. So I was like, I want to make this something that people will want to sit down and listen to front to back. And I had kind of a concept of like, all my songs are very different. I write in completely different ways. How am I going to like tie all these together?
Right.
And I was kind of struggling with that. And then my best friend Jasny House, actually, I sat down with her and I had an idea kind of outlined for a script for the interlude. And then she like kind of took my very randomly written thing and made it into the interlude. And I wanted people to like feel like they were in the dive bar while they were listening to it. That was kind of my goal. And the woman who read the script, her name is Debbie Hoisman. She is one of my best friends as well. She worked, we worked at a daycare together for a pretty long time, and she just has the perfect voice for it. And I was like, you got to do it. But I had to beg her to do it. Like, I seriously had to almost bribe that woman to get in my apartment because she was so nervous. And I'm like, girl, it's recorded. We can just chill out. And she's so funny. But anyway, so it was really important to me too to have like people participate in it that I loved, and like I listen to that and I want to cry because I think about her. You know what I mean? Right. It's like very personal. So, and I also wanted kind of a way to like introduce me and like tell you a little bit but not too much kind of thing. And yeah, this next project has some interludes on it as well.
I was going to ask you if we can expect more of the same on the new album. You've just finished recording, so we're and it's a waiting game for now, the mixing and mastering and whatnot. It's called, is it Pink Limousine?
Pink Limousine.
Is that correct? And so, obviously a big movie lover. Anybody who saw the IPR write-up, your interview with Tony Daner, you listed your favorite noir movies. I love that Seven got a shout out. That's just a classic movie.
Yes.
And then, I mean, you have movie like interludes, and you have a song. It's called Movie, correct? So. Yeah, it's. I'm curious. Are you interested in doing acting at all? Is there a bone to go out there and perform that way?
I think I would like to do acting. My friend Jazz would laugh at me for saying this right now because I can't take anything seriously. That's my problem, is I just love to goof around, and so it would have to be a specific role, I think, for me to like. But I think I would love to do that. I did a lot of. Like, I grew up in dance and stuff, and I played a lot of characters in our recitals, and I always played like the characters people didn't want to do because I thought they were funny. I was like the grandpa in Willy Wonka, and like as like a 10-year-old, and like doing lots of crazy things. I've always just like loved to perform and be on stage, so I think I would really like to get into filmmaking and movie acting. I think it would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. We'd all love to see that, I think.
Yeah, whoever wants to cast me, girl, call me up.
So,
yes,
the album's done.
It's done.
You just finished up with 8035.
Yep.
Is that like a break for you now? You've been spending all this time working towards this album, and then working towards these performances, and are you taking a break for a little bit now? Are you getting back out on the road?
You know, I am not good at taking breaks personally. That's an issue maybe, but it's okay. We don't need to worry about it right now. It's good because I'm working a lot, but I think now I'm kind of moving into like a preparing for the album kind of situation. There's like a lot of mixing that's going to be happening, and I'm going to have a single coming out at the beginning of August, and then probably another single as well before the album in like October. So lots of like video stuff for that. I really like the visual aspect of things, so I'm going to be working on that and like merch and getting like some release show stuff situated. So I'm also working on kind of like a magazine to go with. I'm going to get like vinyls made for the album.
Oh, really?
So I want to do like a magazine with like the lyrics and different pictures and stuff. I always like that kind of thing that's like made by the artist. I think that's like pretty personal and fun.
It's an insert.
Yeah, I like to make art in like all different aspects. So I think that's like it's a new fun part for me. Like the recording's done and the performing's done for now a little bit. So it's kind of like I get to go into hiding for a sec, but I'm still kind of working. So
tell me about Pink Limousine.
Yeah.
What can we expect? We've all heard Dive Bar. If you haven't heard Dive Bar, go look up Dive Bar. It's incredible.
Thank you.
Tell me about Pink Limousine.
Yeah, Pink Limousine is, I would say, it's Dive Bar's like big sister or brother or whatever, I would say. There's a lot more songs. There's about like 10-ish songs, a couple interludes. So I think it's kind of, there's aspects of Dive Bar that are very similar, but I think it goes like a step further. There's, on some of the songs, there's more of like a Las Vegas kind of feel. I had Tanner Taylor come play piano on it, and he brought this like very like Von Mar, like I don't know, like Las Vegas hotel, like I don't. It's very cool.
You mean like old school swinger type?
Yeah, kind of. There's like a, I don't know. It's like I'm imagining like seashells and pearls and like, you know what I mean? It's very visual.
Tom Jones.
Yeah, yeah. It's very visual. I think that that's important to me too, to put a picture in people's heads. So I think there's a little naughty. There's some naughty things in it, but so sorry, Mom and Grandma, but it's fun. There's a lot of really fun stuff, and I think, I don't know. I don't even know really how to explain it. It's been a really interesting process, like writing it and recording it and everything. It's just been like I've learned so much since Dive Bar, so
right.
It's fun.
And that's sort of just listening to the titles of the albums, Dive Bar to Pink Limousine. It sounds like you've moved up in the world.
Well, you know, I think that is a little deceptive too.
Well, of course.
Once you hear Pink Limousine,
you fake it till you make it.
Yeah, right.
So you're from a small town in Iowa too.
Yep.
Where are you from?
Panora.
Panora.
Yep.
So
it's about an hour from here.
So they must be pretty proud of you there.
I think so. Yeah, definitely my family is really supportive, and I think, yeah, I don't go back a ton, but a lot of my teachers and stuff I had in high school, and they reach out to me and support me and stuff. So it's I think that it's a great town, and my dance teacher and stuff that I grew up with is very supportive, and she was the one that really also pushed me to sing a lot. Once I started singing, she would make me sing at almost every recital, and I'm like, Christy girl, I don't want to sing, I just want to dance right now, I'm out of breath. And then she'd be like, sing Over the Rainbow right now. But it was good. I mean, it taught me to sing and dance, and do, it's fun. So
I'm gonna say your voice is incredible. We've had a lot of fantastic singer-songwriters and some great vocalists on the show. You might be the strongest vocalist we've had in terms of melisma and stuff like that.
Oh, thank you.
I'm curious what like how much of that is pre-planned, how much of it is organic in the moment when you're singing like the melismas and stuff? Is it, do you have the sort of run in your mind, or you just sort of improvise it?
I think most of what I'm doing is improvising, unless I prepare for something, which is, I'm not super great at preparing.
It doesn't sound like much.
Yeah, I don't, I think that's kind of like the fun part for me, is kind of like, I don't really know what's gonna come out, but it's very like, I don't know.
You ever surprise yourself?
Yeah, I think I definitely.
Run and you're like, oh, that was pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. And there's times where I'm like, whoa, girl, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But
we all have those.
Yeah, right. You gotta have both. But yeah, I think that's like the funnest part of being on stage, is like matching like the energy of where I'm at, and kind of going with the band and feeding off of their energy and just kind of winging it in a way. But I think that's what has been like really important to me, is playing with a band that can like pick up where I'm at, and like I can pick up where they're at, and it's very just in the moment, and it's unlike any other feeling. So I love that.
And let's talk about your band.
Yeah.
Because at least recently you've been playing with the band Birdie Pie, who's incredible in their own right. Birdie Pie, if you're watching.
Yeah, literally, call him.
They, I saw you guys at 8035. You guys were incredible together.
Awesome, thank you.
But they're not the band playing on the recording, are they?
No, we kind of had like various different musicians and artists come in and play, kind of just like time-wise. We were kind of trying to get everything in. So
Sure. Where'd you record it?
At Golden Bear Studios with Brian Vanderpool. So yeah, Brian played drums on all the tracks, and we had a guy from Ryan Jeter's A Mind at Large, who I've played with a little bit as well, came in. Ryan Jeter came in and did horn stuff, and Jay Foote did bass. So a lot of the Mind at Large guys who are like good friends with Brian. So yeah, it was kind of just like a mismatch kind of thing. But that's kind of what I like about it, is like I can just hire people for certain things. I really love working with Birdie Pie. Those guys are just like really fun to practice with too, and they're just like very sweet guys, and they care a lot about my songs and like my vision and stuff. And because I'm like, okay, we need to have this choreographed. I'm gonna, you know what I mean? And there, a lot of bands are like, what the heck is this girl doing? So
well, it's not the easiest thing to do, to follow the command when you got your own band dynamic going, to sort of put that aside so that you can, focus on someone else's project. That's a sort of a big job.
Right. And I really like appreciate that they're willing to do that, because it's that's like asking a lot. Like I'm like, you don't have to care, you know what I mean? Like you can just kind of do what you want to do, but they really care, and it's I can't ask for anything more than that. They're very sweet people.
Yeah,
but
well, you guys sound fantastic
Thank
together.
you.
It really does sound just like on the album.
Nice, thank you.
Which is, again, sort of hard to replicate,
Yeah.
especially if you're not the one who made the album.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So
Yeah.
is that to say that Brian Vanderpool did the guitar solos on
No.
Dive Bar?
No, Steven Riek did, and Steven played on who in Birdie Pie.
Okay.
Steven played on Pink Limousine too, so
Okay.
he was one of the ones that we hired out for that as well. We had Cam Schneider play drums on Dive Bar, who he plays with quite a few different groups like Lady Revel now and stuff. But yeah, Dive Bar seems so long ago, but it was only a year.
Right.
It's crazy.
It's been a ride.
It's been a ride, and now I can't get off of the ride. I think it's just going.
Well, I think you deserve the ride.
Oh, thank you.
And thank you for being here. I
Of
think
course.
we have to wrap up the interview.
Yeah,
They're
let's do
buzzing
it.
me in the tower there. But would
Yeah.
you stick around and jam out with us for a
I
little
would
bit?
love to.
All right.
I would
Thank you
love-
very much.
Of course.
Annie Kemble, everybody.
I've been calling him since the moment he left town. He's on the other line, behind the hole in the clouds. I've been singing the blues since I could move my mouth. I've been losing fear and holding dear to my doubt. Pain has made me kind, and kindness has let me down. I don't wanna know when, where, or how. But what about why? Why do you say hello? Why do you say goodbye? Nothing has changed, I'm just older now. For you I sigh, for you dear only. Why haven't you seen it? I'm all for you, body and soul. I spend my days in longing and wondering why it's me you're wronging. I tell you I mean it, that I'm all for you, body and soul. I can't believe it, oh it's so hard to conceive it, that you would turn away from my romance. No, no. Are you pretending? No, my dear, it looks like the ending. If you won't let me have one more chance to prove, dear, my life a wreck you're making. Oh, you know I'm yours for just the taking. Oh, I gladly surrender myself to you, body and soul. Just the taking. Oh, I gladly surrender myself to you, body and soul.
Well, thank you for tuning into the Guitar Department. I've been your host, Joe Alton. I want to thank Annie Kemble for being here. Annie, how can they follow your music?
I am on Instagram at Annie Kemble. You can find my stuff there, as well as anniekemble.com. I'm on Facebook too, just Annie Kemble.
And be sure to watch out for Pink Limousine coming out sometime in the future. We don't have a release date, but we're looking for possibly a release date and a show, you said? A
release show. Hopefully October-ish.
So make sure you don't miss that. I also want to thank the Patovich family for loaning me this amazing Gibson Lucille that I've been playing this whole show. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. I want to thank Jackson, our producer up in the booth, flying solo today, rocking us out and doing a great job. And be sure to follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/The Guitar Department and our Instagram page at guitar_department. And with that, you want to play us out?
Let's do it.
All right.
So